Welcome again to our Marketplace Influencer Weekly. We have a special guest. He works in the government. He's part of the Air Force. And one thing I like about it. Syempre tayo mga Pilipino, mahilig tayo sa mga movies talaga. Lumaki tayo na you get to see action films basically. We grew up in an environment na action films. We see people about them, but it's also nice to learn more from where they're coming from also. And without further ado, let's welcome Colonel Rommel Roldan.
Hi, Tommy. To all our viewers there, good afternoon po sa inyo lahat.
Okay. Siguro question ko lang kasi syempre, I guess it's typical for Filipinos, syempre because of the influence of the movies. Syempre gusto pumasok either sa PNP, sa Air Force, something like that. Pero gusto ko rin malaman yung yung story mo. What really encouraged you to go into Air Force? Ano yung naging motivation or deciding factor bakit yan yung pinasukan mong career?
Okay. Tommy, I did not grow up looking up sa sky, nakakita ng helicopter and got so passionate or inspired to become a pilot. Dun sa tanong mo, it's not actually what, but who. Let's say it was my father who influenced me to enter PMA. I was in first year college at UST, basic engineering course. A course na hindi ko rin gusto, but somewhat my father also influenced me to take. My father kasi is a police officer. So he kind of asked me, "Anak, why don't you try taking up the entrance exam at PMA?" At that time kasi, one of my cousins graduated from PMA a few years back. That was, siguro this was in 19 eh. So I was 17 years old that time. Sabi niya, "Why don't you take the exam?" So ako naman, sabi ko, pinagbigyan na kita mag-engineering. Ngayon gusto mo ako mag-PMA. So I said, okay, I'll take the exam. But I did not. So sabi ko na lang sa father ko, Dad, I think I didn't make it kasi lumabas yung results. The following year, sabi na naman niya, "Anak, why don't you try again? Bata ka pa naman." So, the back of my mind, ganun uli gagawin ko, I will say yes, but I will not take the exam. Kaya lang, that evening, while I was doing my devotions, ang verse na napuntahan ko for the day is Ephesians 6, verse 1. "Children, obey your parents in everything, for this pleases the Lord." Nung nabasa ko yon, it's not my physical father telling me na to take the exams. It's my heavenly father telling me to obey my dad, my physical father, to take the exam. So to cut the long story short, I took the exam, I passed, and here I am 30 years later, a colonel at the Philippine Air Force.
Okay. Siguro yung syempre we want to sound positive also kasi ako naman nakita ko wala naman perfect work. Actually, being in the marketplace ministry for the longest time, I get to see people complain about work. Pero hindi nila nakita yung good side of it also. And sa kaka-complain nila, nawalan din ng work. So parang mas gugustuhin pa nilang bumalik sana sa work. Di nila na-appreciate na during those times that they have work, di nila na-appreciate yun. Kung kailan wala ng work, doon na realize how much of a loss they have. Siguro in your case, what made you last this long? Bakit it's so fulfilling? What are the fulfilling things about being in the Air Force?
Well, what's very fulfilling about the Air Force is, of course, not everyone gets a chance to fly. And you may get a chance to fly, but you're probably just a passenger, right? Nandun ka lang, pasahero ka ng isang eroplano. In my case, I not only was given a chance to pilot, but it's not a plane, but it's a helicopter. Mas mahirap siyang sakyan. You don't just go and buy a ticket to ride a helicopter, unlike a commercial plane. So it's that opportunity. Second, it's the opportunity to be exposed. Ako kasi typical Manileño, yung before becoming a military officer, I thought na ang Pilipinas, Metro Manila lang. Na ang lugar outside Metro Manila, pangit. I look down on the people outside Metro Manila. I know, yun yung typical mindset ng, wala kasi kaming probinsya. I never got a chance to get out of Metro Manila. And what I see sa movies, sa teleserye, sa TV, ang pangit ng probinsya. But when I had a chance to be, when I became a military officer, napuntahan ko from Fuga Island, way up north, down to Tawi-Tawi. It's a good realization that our country is very good. Our people, the people outside Metro Manila, are good. In fact, some of them are better than us. And it's, minsan kasi, di ba, we have this, pag nagbisaya, natatawa tayo. Ganun ang typical Manileño. Ay, Bisaya, but when you get to talk to them, know the people, know the culture. Ako that's one thing that I'm really grateful for. The chance to travel to see people at ma-realize na, hey, maganda ang Pilipinas. Magandang, mabubuti, magagandang tao ang kapwa ko Pilipino, even those coming from outside Metro Manila.
Okay. Siguro yung may dalawang questions ako eh. Yung isa medyo serious pa before we go to the light part. And the serious is also probably what are the things that you learned as a officer in your experience, mga good lessons that you learned that you want to, that is transferable to other people that you can share, mga good lessons that you learned in your career.
Okay. Well, in my career, kasi ang military, no, very hierarchical, very structured. And being a leader is built in, lalo na kung officer ka. One realization that I would like to share, kasi ito medyo mas experience in the military, is that you have to transcend, you have to develop yourself as a leader. Magsisimula ka ng maliit, and then as you prove yourself, you gradually are given more responsibilities. More responsibilities. And also, a realization na sa amin kasi, dahil hierarchical kami, you really move up. But what propels you to move up is not just yung skill mo, but it's also more of how people see you. And
okay.
Sa amin, it's very important that as a young officer, you build your reputation. I'm sure in the corporate world, ganun din. Kaya lang kasi as I see from my friends in the corporate world, they have a tendency, they have more leverage to move. Pag ayaw na nila yung isang kumpanya, they can move. As in the military, hindi ganun eh. Like right now, I'm in Camp Aguinaldo. Kung hindi ko gusto yung opisina ko, I can't just say na, ay, lipat ako sa iba. I have to stick it out here. So, as leaders, you really have to build your reputation. Whether you like your workplace now or not, talagang kailangan gawin mo lang. Siguro, that's one thing good. For others, it may be bad. Kasi for me, it forced me to just do my best whether I like it or not. Kasi ang extreme choice ko is to get out of the service. Okay? To really change career. Hindi katulad ng nasa corporate, ay, ayoko dito sa company A, pwede ako sa company B. For us, it's really, hindi ko naman sinasabing we're stuck here. We have a choice, but hindi ganun kalaki yung freedom namin. That's why the good thing is we really have to do our part. Alam mo, Tommy, it's not easy to be in government. Lalo na in the military. particularly in the Philippines because of our martial law experience. There's still that part of our society who look very negatively on the soldiers because of the martial law era. So doon pa lang medyo negative na eh. And uh, I guess yung ding thought ng nasa corporate, may bias, may parang, this is my personal feeling, amigo, na somehow, hindi kasi itong, yung mga nasa gobyerno, those working in government, are those who are not successful in the private sector. Or they are the ones who are not at par in the private, kaya pinagtsatsagaan to be in government. Which is not the case really. There are a lot of good persons working in government. PMA, for example, has been attracting a lot of very good portion of our youth to become in the military. So dun pa lang, parang marami ng negatives. And of course, the pay is not that good. But why do we stick here? Why do we continue doing it? Kasi there's still that fulfillment inside. Na alam mo, yung ginagawa mo not only directly is for your family, nakakatulong ka sa family kasi may sweldo, but you know that what you're doing is directly impacting our country. Well, all of us, it's not only in the government na directly impacting the country, but it's for direct kasi when you're in government.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. Siguro natutunan ko nga yung maybe three things, maybe out of what you shared, three things. One is be faithful with even the small things kasi in order for you to go up, you have to be faithful with whatever you have right now. Tapos second is you have to be excellent. Actually, nakita ko excellence because hindi mo pwedeng piliin yung situation mo eh. Unlike in the corporate, I agree with that kasi I came from a banking industry na madaling lumipat. If you want to go one rank higher, two ranks higher, lipat. May malilipatan ka na one or two ranks higher. But in your case, you just remained excellent, whether the environment you feel like it's good or not. You just remained excellent with it. So, yun yung nakita ko din. You remained excellent. At the same time, you build good reputation also. Build good reputation. Siguro yung mga stigma and all these things about the army, the air force, basically the military in general, because what you shared also, you have to build a good reputation. Ang nakita ko nga, dun ko na-share mo, kaya pala dun ko naintindihan sa corporate world, no wonder they hire military people to join the board. Dun ko na nakita din as consultants kasi yung training pa lang ng sa military, you said it is not a high pay, but the training there is sufficient enough to prepare. Kasi I get to see corporate companies getting military men to come to their board. Kasi una, nakita ko yung balikan ko yung small things, paano mo pa, if you are faithful, small things, lalaki yan eh. Tapos, you're excellent whether the condition is good or bad. You remain excellent. Talagang hindi ka basta lilipat o susuko na agad. And at the same time, build good reputation. Kasi nakita ko din na it's important pala sa especially I get to see these publicly listed companies or big companies. Part of the credentials ng director, sino mga nandyan sa director? Tapos titignan pala ang credentials. So you have to build a good reputation also. Kaya yun nakita ko din yung training sa military. So thank you for sharing that. At least I was reminded also on it. To build on these three areas also.
So, I just follow up Tom, sa line of discussion mo. Ang strength kasi ng military people is we are hardwired to be operational. Operations people kami. We get things done. You give us something, it's inherent in us to do everything that we can to get the job done. Yun ang strength namin. I think that is one of the things na kung meron mang desirable sa military, sa retired military going into the corporate world, it's that mindset na operational wise, we do things. We find solutions. Kasi all throughout sa military career mo, whatever the circumstance, you have to get the job done.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. So, hardwired to really get the job done talaga. Kasi talagang nakita ko nga, kasi kung sa corporate talaga yung training, as long as alam mo may malilipatan ka, lilipat ka na lang. Yung ganun yung perception lilipat ka na lang because of that. But, so, yun nakita ko yung resilience, basically the resilience, the adaptability and resilience, talagang crucial din pala na training din yan. Especially right now, in the corporate world, it's being discussed right now, adaptability and resilience. Masyadong din discussed na right now because una, the companies are now looking at those skills because tinamaan lahat ng organizations No one is really resilient or adaptable to the situation also. That's why the skills, they're now looking at those skills also. Siguro the non-serious part kasi you're an animal lover and yun, nakita ko si Sky. Siguro what the, lalo na especially right now, there's a study, and especially here in Ortigas, the reason why they encourage pet lovers, kasi may advocacy dito sa Ortigas na talagang on pets, talagang ine-encourage nila, may mga pet blessing, all these things, because it helps the mental health of the people. Mental health. Siguro what led you to, kasi si Sky bago niyan what encouraged you to have a pet? Siguro ano yan pwede natin promote yung Instagram natin later.
It's more of an influence of my wife. My wife kasi is a cat lover. Siya yung tipong pag nakakita ng maliit na puting sa kalye, aalagaan niya, or kung nasa gitna man niya ng kalye, she would stop and put that kitten in a safe place. So we started out with 2 cats. Puspins. And then one of her birthdays, binigyan ko siya ng medyo may breed na cat. So it started out with that. Now when we had a son, kasi di ba, it's having a pet not only brings joy, but it also teaches the child to be responsible in taking care of another life. So yun yung mas naging objective namin. Kaya nagkaroon kami ng dog. Ako kasi dog person ako Kaya lang nung namatayan ako ng dog because I got too busy being reassigned everywhere, pabayaan ko, medyo nag-stray away ako from taking care of dogs. But since right now medyo senior na as in the service, I do mostly office work. So sabi ko sige, and it's also a good chance to introduce taking care of a pet to our 7-year-old son. So, kasi I don't think pag ikaw ay pet lover, animal lover, I don't think isa kang violenting tao. Parang hindi siya okay. Di ba? If you're a pet lover, mas mas relaxed. I think and I believe that. And you're more caring. You're more caring. Kasi if you can take care of a dog na hindi mo makausap, na kailangan mo intindihin kasi iba ang lingwahe nila, I think that broadens you, that improves you as a human being.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. At least sa case nyo kasi for your son, at least matrain din. It's a training. I guess. Thank you for sharing that. Kasi nakita ko din, talagang there's a huge need for pets right now, especially of the mental health actually. Kasi talagang it's a huge discussion. Actually, having pets. Actually, dalawa lang option actually for mental health. Farming or pets. Dalawa lang option daw.
Yeah.
So you took the one of the path. Actually, at least you're in then. So before we end, siguro mga advice mo na lang sa mga people who lost their jobs or people are still who are trying to find their career path. What are your tips and advice for those in that kind of situation right now?
Okay, so sa case ko, I was blessed to have been placed in a career na alam ko doon ako. We started this small talk by telling you na I was sort of forced to be in the military. But when I prayed and the Lord answered my prayer, I knew na my career is to be in the military. So I think that is very important. First, you really have to know what is it, what career really is for you. You people in the corporate, you may have opportunities to switch careers, but it's all the more important that you yourself, in your being, you know what you really want for yourself as a career. And when you know what you want for yourself in the career, you look for a company that will match that.
Okay.
Kasi kung hindi mo alam yung gusto mo, hindi mo alam yung career mo, lilipat at lilipat ka lang. Okay? Tommy, I just would like to share my wife. My wife is an advertising executive. That field, ano yan, talagang lipatan. Nakikita ko sa kanila eh. But my wife is a freak. Kasi she only worked for one advertising company all her career. Doon siya nag-OJT. Doon din natapos ang career niya kasi unfortunately the multinational company had to close down because of the pandemic. Mm-hmm. And I was asking her, bakit hindi mo ginagaya yung iba na nagpapataas ng presyo pag may offer lilipat? Because sa kanya, she's happy there. Yung buhay simple. Sabi niya, lilipat ako sa ibang company, higher pay. But when I look at the office setting, napaka-toxic. Okay. Sabi niya, the people there, pabonggahan, kailangan designer bags. Kung hindi naka-designer bags, hindi ka in. Dito na ako, I'm happy. So sa kanya, malinaw. So siguro that's one advice. Kami rin in the military, we really had to, kung hindi mo itong gusto mo, aalis ka eh.
Okay.
So kailangan malinaw. And as an encouragement naman for those listeners, probably there are listeners here in the government. One realization, Tommy, na nakuha namin because of COVID, we may not be paid as much as those in the corporate, but there's no work that is more secure than government service. Hindi, lalo kami in the military, tuloy ang sweldo, tuloy ang trabaho, no matter what. Unfortunately, we have some colleagues in the Air Force who transferred before the COVID. Because before the COVID, di ba, the airlines, they have a high demand for pilots. So some of our colleagues, they resigned. And when COVID hit, hindi natuloy ang employment.
Oh.
Some of them even took loans. Kasi you have to train pa eh. Even if you're a military pilot, you have to train to become a commercial pilot. And I was talking to some junior officers. So you really should be thankful of the government. Kasi no matter what happens, pasasweldohin at pasasweldohin tayo. It's the security that we have that compensates for probably the disparity, the big disparity.
Thank you for sharing that. Actually, maganda rin na share niya. Kasi, you know, the industry I came from, it's so tempting to transfer. Sa sobrang tempting na mag-transfer, not just the rank, it's the salary package, everything. But because sanay kang lumipat, mabilis ka rin ma-exhausted sa situation kasi hindi ka tumatagal eh. Hindi mo natitiis yung pressure or anything. Sa paglipat mo, yun na naman, you're not trained with it. Susuko ka na. And I've seen some people who just got burnt out. Parang they called it quits and they're trying to do some soul searching all of a sudden. Talagang lost us. After na mag soul searching, bumalik sila. Yun pa rin ulit yung problema nila. And they went back kasi they were not used to it. They were just not used to it. So that's why I like what you shared. That's why yung pay should not be the basis at times. So it should not be a basis at times. As long as you know you're called for it and you enjoy what you're doing also. Kasi kung di mo talaga na-enjoy yung ginagawa mo, lipat ka ng lipat to the point na wala na talaga. So thank you for sharing that. And siguro natutunan ko din, siguro sum up ko na mga learnings ko from your experience eh. I expanded being faithful even with the small things that you have. The small things. Kasi sa training nyo is hierarchical. So going up talaga. Being faithful, being excellent. Kasi nakita kong excellence is hindi mo pwedeng piliin yung situation. Talagang you have to make most out of it. And what you shared is building a good reputation. It's crucial right now, especially if you talk about career right now, especially people are looking for jobs, they're looking at the reputation of the person also. Talagang titignan nila. Ang reputation is so important right now. And you also shared about your wife. Bakit hindi niya ginagawa yung iba? Kasi she's happy what she's doing also, and same time yung pay hindi dapat yung basehan din eh. Kasi I compared that to people I know who kept on transferring. Napapagod talaga, sobrang pagod. Parang sobrang hindi sila sanay na to go through it. Sobrang takot na matanggal sila, lilipat na agad. Ganun na isip ko, bilang na to the point na lalong nahihirapan din sila sa kakalipat din nila. So I guess I adding on it on the resilience part, adaptability and resilience part also. Kasi yung isang natutunan ko yung dalawang terms yun, adaptability is how you adjust with the situation now. Resilience is how you move forward. So thank you, Colonel Roldan, for giving your time. Siguro tatag ko na lang din eh. At least, kasi may Instagram yung si Sky eh. May Instagram. So, what type of dog is Sky again? At least alam din nila.
He's a corgi.
Corgi, yeah. At least, medyo mahal yung ganung dog talaga, sobrang expensive. So, thank you for joining us. I hope this interview helps. Hope you join us again soon. God bless everyone.
Thank you. Bye.